everybody, welcome back to Crochet by Landry. In this video I thought it would be fun just to talk about some of the different ways you can use your scrap yarn, because that's what I've been up to lately. Is I've been trying to use a lot of my scrap yarn because it's just sitting around doing nothing. So I thought I would find a couple of different creative ways to use up all of my scrap yarn, and that way it's also productive and I'm not wasting anything. So let's grab a cup of coffee, grab something to work on, a whip or something, and let's talk about how to use up your scrap yarn. Okay, so one of the different ways you can use up your scrap yarn, and depending on what kind of scrap yarn you have, but this could work for anything, no matter what kind of scrap yarn you have. So one of the different kinds of scrap yarn I have is cotton. And I like to use, depending on how much I have, I usually make maybe just a few of these little keychain, the wristlets, and they're great for holding your keychains or even your clicker button to turn your camera on and off. I have one on my keys, and I have one on a few different things as well, and it works great because it comes off really well and it's noticeable if you use it in bright colors. But using it to make keychains, wristlets, and all sorts of things. You can even use scrap yarn to make scrubbies. And I'll put a picture up on the screen because I don't have any of that with me right now. But using it to make scrubbies, and if you grab some of the scrubby yarn, then you can make a bunch of different scrubbies and dishcloths for your kitchen and also your bathroom, because scrubbies work well for your bathroom as well. But that's one way to make use up your scraps. Another way to use up scrap yarn, and I make plushies. So one of the different ways is to make different plushies. So over the weekend, I was like, I have this much yarn and scraps. What am I going to do with it? So I made up a bunch of stingrays, and I'll link the patterns that I used down below. But here's one. I made a bunch of these in different colors, and they were really easy, really simple. And you just needed two colors. I used white and whatever main color I could find. And I made up a whole bunch of these. I think I made like 10 or 12 at one point, and it was great. And they're really quick and they'll be really fun. I had some black and white left over, so I made some baby orcas, and again, I'll put the link for the pattern down below. But here he is. They're really, really cute, and they're fun to make, and they're very easy. And I also made some baby mushrooms, and they're super fun. And again, you just need one or two colors, three colors, however many colors you want to use, and you can use a bunch of different scrap yarns to make these things. And then I also had some yarn left over, so I came up with a pattern of my very own. And I also launched it this week on, I think it was the 17th. It's up on my Etsy shop, and I'll put that link down below. I came up with Mellybug. This is Mellybug, and she comes in the pattern in 3 different sizes, a small, medium, and a large. And the small version, you actually can conveniently turn that one into a keychain if you just add a little keychain to the top of her head. But this is Mellybug. And Mellybug is for sale on my Etsy shop, and go check her out. But you can also use your scrap yarn, not just to make toys or keychains. You can use it for stuffing. You can use it for using it to, if you happen to have, you're making something and you don't have enough to sew the hole closed, use it to sew the hole closed if it's roughly the same color. That's one of the couple ways that you could do this. And if you have enough different colors of yarn, you could make like a blanket or a pillow cover, a nice shawl for yourself. There's a bunch of different ways to use them. I also use mine for stuffing, so I stuff my projects with some of the leftover yarn as well as the polyester fiberfill, just to give it a little bit extra firm and a little bit extra cushion. And it's also using up scraps that I don't want to throw away. So that way I'm not wasting any yarn, and I'm not buying extra supplies to compensate for the lack of stuffing. So I'm trying to think of different and creative ways to use up extra yarn and loose yarns that I just have lying around the house, so I'm not wasting money. And you can also do this with using up scrap things. If you sew, you can do the leftover material. You can use it for stuffing as well. Just cut it up in little pieces and use it as stuffing for your toys or whatever you're making. You can also use leftover material to sew together to make like a quilt, or you can make pencil cases, scrunchies. There's lots of random things that you can do to make for leftovers that you have lying around. So this is just one of the videos I wanted to come up with today, was just to say, this is what I was doing over the weekend. I was making up some scrap, using up my scraps, using up my loose yarn and thread, and that I had lying around, and came up with a bunch of different things I could make that were really quick and really easy. And this is what I came up with. So stay tuned next week for more fun videos on different crochet things. And who knows, maybe we'll do a tutorial next week to kind of change it up a little bit. But don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button and the notification bell, and I will see you next week for more crochet fun. Bye.